is no sorrow that earth cannot heal.
Because we lived where we could see the destruction. And we were passionate about it. And we were talking about the fact that we were noticing a lot more wildlife on our property because it was just decimated where it had been. We were hearing about die-off. They had just put the marbled murrelet and spotted owl on the endangered species list. And we were talking to this person. And she said, "Oh, it's okay. God's making new species every day." And we said, like, what about the ones that are already here? Like, what about us? Because if we don't take care of the planet, that's just they're the precursors to us eliminating ourselves. So anyway, that was kind of a jaw dropper. The redwoods have become a living metaphor for me personally. And I don't know how many of you know, but the redwoods are actually gridded. They don't have a taproot like most trees. They have a grid that runs under the earth up to 500 feet away. That's why there's very little windfall in the heavily populated groves. And when you get trees out by themselves, they don't have anything to hang on to. Now, what a metaphor for us as human beings. That we need to recognize our interconnectedness to each other. And even though with the redwoods it's underground and you can't see it, with us it's heart to heart, it's soul to soul. And it's really important that we recognize that we're all connected. What a beautiful living metaphor. I cannot look at a redwood tree without remembering that I'm connected to everything else.
Very well said, Karen.
Thank you, honey.
Your speechifying has gotten better and better.
He hasn't been the last couple times I did this.
Now, of
Practicing
course,
without him.
John Muir said everything that Carrie said in one sentence, but then again, he was John Muir. When one tugs at a single thing in nature, he finds it attached to the rest of the world.
Time is ancient energy, alive thousands of years, a wisdom and a dignity our souls can strive to bear. How can we condone the carelessness of man, destroying priceless majesty just because he can? I hear my heart telling me this is sacred land. Isn't your heart telling you this is sacred land? There's a big lack of awareness that what happens in one place affects things in other places. We have a lot of really great examples, especially recently. Anybody remember the volcano that went off in Iceland? Anybody have a trip planned to Europe during that time? That it kind of messed up your plans, didn't it? But that's like on the other side of the world. How could that possibly affect me? Well, it did, because the planes couldn't see. Most recently, the earthquake in Japan. Sometimes, I swear, I think our mother is just trying to throw us all off, because she's so fed up with us, but I think she'll let us stay if we wake up and be a little more benevolent to her. That's been a big one. Now, it's not so much the shaking. The tsunami did $17 million worth of damage in Santa Cruz. It completely wiped out Crescent City. I know it did damage in Hawaii and other port places. It's incredible, and that's on the other side of the world. Now, we have no idea what the fallout is going to be from if that nuke really leaks. That could affect all of us everywhere for God knows how long. To me, these are like really big wake-up calls for all of us to look at what's going on, and do we really need nuclear energy? I don't know. But it sure seems to me that the sun and the wind is a lot more benign. So maybe we need to lobby for things. Hurricane Katrina was another interesting one. didn't affect us until we rented to some people who were refugees. They lost their home. It was underwater for 11 days. They came to Humboldt County. Apparently there was a restaurant there that brought several families in and helped them find housing. We rented our house to them. They struggled the whole time they lived in our place. It ended up being we ended up being very impacted by what had happened to them, even though it was several years later. So you just never know.
Even as an actual Native American proverb is, we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children.
The Iroquois tribe planned for 7 generations ahead. Anybody familiar with their beliefs? I love this. I can remember my 97-year-old best friend's mom, who is very, very connected to the earth. She also has an April birthday. She would have been 98 on the 20th. In every deliberation, we must consider the impact on the 7th generation, even if it requires having skin as thick as the bark of a pine. What about the 7th generation? Where are you taking them? What will they have? That's from the Elders' Council. I fear that our generation, as several before us, have had very, very tunnel, very short vision. And I believe that the Earth, our Mother Earth, has in her DNA the same ability to heal herself that we do. I mean, how many of you have either had a cancer or know someone in your age group that has had a cancer? It's another wake-up call. I have a chronic fatigue syndrome that has really changed my life drastically. And it's not because I don't take good care of myself, it's because I work too hard. I eat well, I exercise, I don't drink, I don't do drugs. Boy, I'm a disgrace to my profession. Somebody told me that once. But I do push myself way too hard because I bought into the stress A personality thing. So it's, you know, it's a wake-up call for all of us. We have to learn to take care of ourselves in order to effectively care for our planet.
We were born to love each other, father, mother, sister, brother. Look into your heart and you will see Mother Earth lives deep inside you. Be still, let her guide you. Listen and we'll find that inner peace. Through it all, she will embrace us, shine a warm sun on our faces, teaching us to be the best that we can be. Oh, Mother, oh, Mother, protect us, teach us how to receive. Protect us, teach us how to believe.
There is hope if people will begin to awaken that spiritual part of themselves, that heartfelt knowledge that we are caretakers of this planet. That's Brooke Medicine Eagle, and this is, everybody know Frank Lloyd Wright, the architect? I love this, it's just so simple. Study nature, love nature, stay close to nature, it will never fail you. Namaste.